And we are live. Welcome on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana. You're watching on the Smart Money Culture TV network, as well as streaming around the world on YouTube and Facebook and Rumble and all those other great platforms that we use. I'll tell you what, it is a exciting day across the board. We have Sleepy Joe wearing MAGA hats. We got tokens launching on that premise. We have CPI numbers that came in. Of course, my show that I did earlier today, I had to redo it because the audio on it was messed up. But I figured it out. You can't keep a good dog down, right? I figured it out. So we're live here again. Let me just of course I'll share this through our network that we have here live on the Impact Money Show. One of the reasons why I wanted to do it over again was because my interview with the real outlaw Gator. Gator is doing amazing work bringing America First candidates to us. Front and some of the interviews that you've seen me do on the show, almost all of them really, these America First candidates have been from Patriots United, the outlaw Gator himself. So I sat down with him yesterday and we had a great talk. And we're going to continue working together because the work that he's doing is so important. I always tell everybody that we have to support each other. We have to support each other, guys, because if we don't support each other, the other side is supporting each other. And, it's like, even like I talked to some of the guys, and maybe they're even watching right now. And, you look at like the Brooklyn Dad and some of these other guys, these guys are making a complete living just off of their X accounts. Yeah. There's a lot of them on the other side. They get paid a lot. And what we need to do is we need to start really working with each other. And it's starting, but we need to work with each other. We need to be accepting of each other. And we got to push this America First agenda first forward, because I'll tell you what, guys, Trump is not perfect. Okay, but he is the man for the job right now, just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk's not perfect. You see in my title, right? Elon Musk gives a nod to the central banking cartel. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that later. He put out a post. He said, listen, this guy says we need to end the Fed. And he says, we just need to cut government spending. And I end the story. He says, well, there you go. I mean, the guy's, supposed to be the first trillionaire in the history of the United States, the first trillionaire. He's obviously very long on the dollar, obviously working with the banks. From what I understand, he doesn't really take a salary. All he does is because it's cheaper to not pay taxes because taxes are so high. So what he does is he borrows money from the banks, uses it to pay all his bills and his living expenses, and then he never has to pay taxes on the money that he makes, right? So it's a slick thing, right? And you can do that. And we have talked about velocity banking, and it's not something that, as a TV station and everything, that we don't do. We definitely do that as a TV station. Me, I am not. That's not really my cup of tea. I am you go long, long crypto, long Bitcoin, short the bankers. Okay, that's my story. That's what I do. And I think that is more of a winning strategy, but I understand the other side of it. And that system has gotten us into the mess that we are today, though. I mean, keep that in mind. On one hand, as I was growing up, everybody said, oh no, this system is so great. The system is so wonderful. Look at what's happened. We have been able to buy these houses and buy these cars and everything else. But then look at what happened over the last 30, 40, 50 years that you've been around. All right. So yeah, sure. You were able to buy this or able to buy that beyond your means. Okay. Beyond your means. You couldn't cash out the house for $200,000 or $300,000. So you took a mortgage. Now that $200,000 or $300 house is worth $1 million now, right? You couldn't cash it out now still. Okay. But you could have. All right. But part of the reason why everything keeps going up is because of this credit system that everything is built on. And you got to understand that the credit system is a debt system. It's a debt system. And it will only result in slavery. And that's it. And I talk about it. I talk about it on the show. I talk about it a number of times. I'm going to get into it a little bit more a little later, but I really want to play my interview here with my main man, Gator from Patriots United. I think the audio was a little bit messed up on it this morning, so I wanted to go ahead. We do have this TV slot at 12 noon as well. It's 11 a.m. I know for you guys there in Texas. A lot of times I'll just rerun the show, But this morning I decided, hey, let's not rerun the show. Let's go ahead and just do another show. I used to do 2 shows a day. It's a lot, though. It's a lot to do 2 shows a day. Maybe I'll get back to doing 2 shows a day. But it is a lot of fun. But this is Gator, okay? And he's with the Patriots United. He's a heck of a guy. And we did an interview. We sat down and did an interview last night. And it was very revealing. And I'll let him kind of go ahead and talk for himself here. Let me go ahead and play this. And we are back here on the Smart Money Culture TV network with the Impact Money Show. I have someone really special with me here today. This guy is working it all day, all night. Patriots United, patriotsunited.us. He brought us a lot of actually almost all, maybe all of the candidates that we interviewed over this leading up to the primary. I have with me here, he goes by Gator, Patriots United. So Gator, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this position where you're like the candidate wrangler.
Well, yeah, I go by Gator. On X, it's the real Outlaw Gator, but the company is Patriots United, and we have an X page. You can reach it at Patriots Unite TM, and the TM is for trademark because we are an actual Section 527 nonprofit. It's trademarked. Patriots United is a trademarked name, and we're a political organization. And what we do is we look for grassroots candidates nationwide. We have a website, and I put the website right there below Patriots United, and you can go to it. And we have all kinds of information there. And we have a candidates page. And our webmaster, Sick of the Lies, you can look him up at on his X page there. But we have all our candidates listed, and our candidates are grassroots people. They're grassroots folks just like us, just like you and I. And we have a video conference with them when we vet them. And like I told you earlier, I'll sit right there with them and I'll tell them straightforward. I said, I hate politicians. That's why I got into doing this. I hate a politician. I don't care what side of the aisle he's on, or if he's in the middle. I don't care. I hate a politician, and I'll tell them that. And if they start acting like a politician, sounding like a politician, or speaking that politicianese, I'll tell them, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do for you. Have a blessed day, and good luck in your race.
You're fired. Well, that's one of the things.
Fired. And just like Trump will tell them, you're fired.
Just like Trump told. Well, that was one of the things that I was attracted to in the beginning when we first started talking to each other was the America First candidates. And we were just talking about it on phone. And Gator and I have had a number of phone conversations actually, and a lot of text messages. But
I've known you a long time, Bruce.
We've known each other for a while now. But guys come to Washington. A lot of times they have the best intentions. A lot of times they don't, though. But a lot of times they have the best intentions. They come to Washington and then they get, defiled, as I say it, because there's
exactly.
A lot of stuff gets defiled. But you at least in the beginning want to make sure that we're putting up America First candidates because we have a lot. We have a lot of people. And guys, I'm here in Washington, and that's what I was just telling Gator. I said, man, you look around and people just don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter who wins. If Kamala wins or Trump wins, the gravy train for them is going to keep going. It's going to keep going. Yeah. Their life is not going to change. But for the average person, we're looking around going, my gosh, eggs are double. Steak is double. My kid's school is double. Like everything's double at least. And that's not the taxes. Everybody would be ready for this, especially if Trump doesn't get in. Taxes are going to go way up. There's no choice in the matter because the national debt is going up, and the amount of taxes every year is the same amount to service that national debt. It's the same amount every year.
Exactly. That's why when we interview these candidates, and like I said, we vet each and every one of them. If they do not want to do a video conference call with us, and when I say us, we are a 527 nonprofit. I mean, we're the real deal. We're not just some little fly-by-night organization group on X. We are the real deal. If they do not want to talk to us or they don't have the time to talk to us, then they're not going to have the time to talk to their constituents.
That's right.
They're not going to have the time to listen to the people of the United States. That's how we feel about it. Then, like I said, we'll just tell them have a blessed day. But if they'll sit down and talk to us, we'll tell them, talk to us like we are people. Talk to us like we would talk to you, because we want grassroots people in office that understand where we're coming from, and we don't want them to forget where they came from. Well, because one of the things, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Bruce, but one of the things, and actually my vice president, like I said, sick of the lies, he was unable to make it here this evening. But that is one of the questions he asks each and every one of them is, we know that the politicians that are up there now are compromised. We know that. Now, how can you assure us that you will not be compromised? Right. What can you sell me that is going to assure me that if I endorse you or if I trust you, that you're not going to be compromised the moment you get there? What can you tell me?
So important to know. Like, we don't know. Like, you look around, let's say
exactly
even the state next to me here, Virginia, right? There's actually seats that nobody's even running for it. And then the people that are running for the different seats, we don't know if they're America First. We don't know if we have no idea. And so what you're doing is so important. It's so important. Hey, look, these are America First candidates. We need to support them as a group, as a national level, as a MAGA community, as a Make America Great community. We need to support these guys because they're the ones, they've been vetted as much as we can vet them, right? They've been vetted that they are America First. They're going to stay America First.
Right. And we try to educate people. We hold a Thursday night space on X, and we've been doing it for over a year now. And It's every Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, and we go over the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, all the amendments, the founding documents, Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers, John Locke, papers and essays and news articles from back in those days that had an effect on how our country was founded. Yeah. Papers and documents that people have never even heard of, or if they had heard of it or were taught it in school, have forgot it. So we try to educate people on these Thursday spaces and let them know this is how it was intended. You forgot this. So you need to remember this. Yeah. So when you go to the polls to vote, you know what you're voting for. You know, this is what the founding fathers had intended. This is how the country was designed. We are still a republic. We're not a democracy.
We're not a democracy. It makes my skin crawl. So it's Outlaw Gator, and you have a space every, what is it?
Every Thursday night. At 8:30 Eastern, our time.
8:30 p.m. EST. I'm just going to put that on the bottom of our screen here for a minute so that people can see it.
And we hold it under the company handle it's actually at Patriots Unite. At Patriots Unite TM. That's the company handle, and that's what it's held under every Thursday night.
PM. All right.
At 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So make sure you guys join that because it's so important. People don't even realize. No, and it makes my skin crawl.
Bruce, TM, not TV. TM.
Oh yeah, well, we're on TV. Give me a break.
You're famous now. That's why I come to you. You're famous. You're going to make me famous.
We're working on it. Well, I think what you're doing is so important, and that's why when you said, "Hey, Bruce, let's talk. Let's get together." And I said, okay, who we're going to interview? No, I want to talk about what I'm doing. So let's talk about that for a minute as well. I mean, it's one thing to educate the masses. It's one thing to educate people that we are a republic. We're not a democracy. The difference is that you do that every Thursday. But what do you do for the candidate? Let's talk about what the candidate can expect from Patriots United.
Okay, well, I'd like to start out with actually how we locate the candidate, and that'll be real quick. What Patriots United does is we've actually taken the country and divided it into 10 regions, and our members are assigned to the regions by their residents, by where they're located, because we're nationwide. Okay. We're not a fly by night. We're nationwide. And so they reach out to the candidates in their region and we contact them. And if they contact us back, then we start talking with them and we say, okay, this is what we can do for you. We have access to a phone banking and a phone calling company that we've done work with in the past. I'm sure they won't mind me giving them a shameless plug. We work with EZ Politics, but we do volunteer with whatever the candidate has, because some of our candidates have their own war chest full of money, and they've had their own campaign team, and we just provide volunteers. If they come to us and they say, "Hey, Gator, I work with this company. I just need some volunteers to make phone calls." I get into our space and I'll say, or I get into the network of chat rooms that I have built, and I say, "Hey, I need some volunteers for this candidate's campaign. Let me know who can do it." And I get that list and I'll shoot it over to the candidate. So here's your list of volunteers to make phone calls for you. So we do phone calling. We do phone banking for them. We'll do text messaging for them. We provide volunteer work in that manner. We have an art department that will create flyers, AI work. We'll do campaign work and flyers and flood the whatever social platform you want us to, or we'll flood them all with whatever campaign flyer you have made up, or we'll make up our own. We always run that artwork through the campaign and get the candidates okay first.
Yep.
Very, very early on in our infancy, we learned the hard way that we must do that. It's kind of the law. So we learned hard way that we have to clear anything through the candidate first. The FEC kind of frowns upon that. So it wasn't no big deal. We got that covered, taken care of. And so candidate okays it and we send out. So we have many members that have very, very large accounts and large followings. We provide podcast interviews with very popular podcasters, and some of them are even pretty, like Bruce Porter. He does a lot of podcasting for us, and he's one pretty son of a bitch, I swear. And he does a lot of good work for us, and we're very happy to be working with him on that.
It is a pleasure.
And I do thank you, sir, for everything you do for us. Thank you. So we do, that's what we do, is we offer whatever we do. We have an excellent webmaster. If they need it, we offer it, and he will build them websites or rebuild their websites for them if they have the cookie cutter. Yeah, I'm fixing to say it.
So
the GoDaddy bullshit that you only fill in the template thing. No, our guy, he's very good. He's also very secretive, I shall say. So I will keep his business, but he has intimate knowledge of, he's also a retired disabled veteran like myself. Amazing. So he has time to do this stuff, but he has knowledge of the industry out in California for about 35 years. So we can provide short clip commercial type, the 15-second to 30 seconds that can be put out. We can provide them back to them for, they can put it on their TV, local TVs if they need, or if they wish. We can put it on also out on to the social media. He also builds websites, so he can build them a website. We have our own secure server that is our server. So it's got, as he likes to put it, it's more secure than NASA. So if you want to get in it,
more secure than Hillary Clinton's server.
Yeah, exactly. Hillary can't even get into our shit. So, yeah, that's it. It's white clean.
Well, and guys, I got to tell you, the track record is impressive as well. Before the interview, now, which this is at night, our time. You're watching in the morning, but we got together with our time difference. the conversation we just had, I said, well, how many of those guys that I interviewed did, made it into the primary? And he, yeah. And I mean, there was
quite a few.
There were 4 or 5 right off your head, right off the top of your head.
Right off the top of my head, I was able to name at least a handful of them. And you were able to, and like I said, and I like to think a lot of that was, due to them coming on your show, and a couple of them came on more than once.
Yes.
And I know right off the top of my head that they made it through to the November election. But I'd like to give a shout out to the little lady in Arizona, the councilwoman. Now she doesn't have to go to no general election. Now she went straight through. She's all Miss Jeanette Garcia.
No crap from no Indians. I'll tell you that, man.
That's it. Miss Jeanette Garcia is out there in Avondale, sitting in her seat, already elected and doing her job. She's already doing it, and she was on here. So thank you, sir. You got her. She is elected. She's not waiting to be elected. She's doing her job. So yes, she was on here with you. So I think between the two of us, we got her elected, sir.
Thank you. I agree. It's an amazing service. So that's why look, we need to push it forward. I'll tell you what, we don't know what this election. I mean, I have my fingers crossed. I even pray about it. I have no idea really what to expect. I think that God help us. That at least Trump gets in and we get some down ballot people. It could end up being a red wave like 2022 should have been, but we'll see. 2022 was a red wave. They just somehow made that wave like kind of go away.
Yeah, there was there's a lot of that cheating going on. We know it. We know it. We got the receipts. It's just until we can get the judicial system wrangled back in and back where it's supposed to be and running like it's supposed to be. It's can't do nothing with it.
So first step here is, of course, we get Trump in. Then hopefully we get Trump in. I think we're doing everything we can to get him in. We get some other America First candidates, and then it's really we need to just start focusing immediately on 2026 so that we can replace these people, because so many people are sitting there and everyone's like, well, you got to vote for him because you got to vote Republican down ballot. And you're looking at this person, and this person, like, they hate us. Like, they literally don't like us. Like, they don't like us.
I will say this. Now, we have already, here at Patriots United, we have already started looking forward to 2026. We've got about 6 to 8 candidates on our future candidates roster that are in ready to go for 2026. One of our little bright shining stars, and we've already been down to shoot footage for some commercials for her, and she's going to be running for the Georgia Senate, and not state Senate, the U.S. Senate,
the big house,
the big house, and that is going to be Miss Reagan Box. Reagan, like Ronald Reagan, is how it's spelled. Reagan Box. It's spelled just like Box. She's a firecracker. I'm telling you, Bruce, and I want you to interview her soon. I'm going to be sending you her information. You're going to love this young lady.
Okay.
Not only is she a firecracker, she's a cute little thing. She's a cowgirl. You're going to love her. I'm telling you, you're going to love her. She is down to earth as can be.
I love the state of Georgia. It is so amazing what happened in the state of Georgia.
I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened is they stole that state from us. And if they keep voting like they are,
everybody knows it.
If they keep voting like they are, I'm going to revoke their Southern card. I'm telling you.
They're going to lose their Southern card. I agree.
Exactly. Man. I'm going to revoke it.
I grew up in North Carolina. My dad was an Army brat. I was an Army brat, but he retired in North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina.
But I'll have some information to you so you can set up an interview with her in the future. But yeah, we've already got us some 2026 candidates.
Yep.
They're on our website already as well, patriotsunited.us. I keep saying that. So, yep, I got it. Should have it down there under my name. But make sure y'all go visit it.
Yes.
patriotsunited.us. Yep. And that way you can see the candidates that we still have. And what we did is the ones that did not make it through, unfortunately, we kept them on there and wished them well. We still kept in contact with them so we can see what their future plans are. They want to continue moving forward. We'll help them move forward with whatever they want to do next. Some of them are going on to 2026. So we'll pick them up. We'll keep on dust them off, and we'll go 2026 with them. So you may see them again, because we're not going to let them give up. You know, hey, just because you got knocked down once, come on, I'll give you a hand up, not a hand out, and we'll keep on rolling.
That's how we do it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm not gonna let you quit. No man left behind.
We can't quit. We can't quit.
But
well, let's
here's
have you
one
on
thing,
again. I'd love to ask you even some more questions about yourself and everything else. But in this segment, we've run out to it. We're going to be going into the marketing and everything else. We're hand it off to Matt Dixon here. But really appreciate what you're doing. Patriots United, patriotsunited.us. Just give your last handles and website and everything else yourself, and then we'll close out.
I'll do that. Yeah, it's Patriots United, and our website is patriotsunited.us. You can come see and visit and see all our candidates. Our X handle is Patriots United TM. We hold our Thursday spaces every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And that'll be it, sir.
Amazing. Well, Gator, always a pleasure, brother.
Yes, sir. And I will talk to you again, whether it's DM, text, phone, but I will talk to you again sometime real soon.
You got it, brother. Cheers.
All right, man.
Well, there you have it, guys. The Outlaw Gator as he's known. Very interesting how he put this together in order to make a change. And one of the things he said there, and I don't know, him and I had a number of conversations, so I don't know actually if it was in that interview or not, but one of the reasons he put it together was everybody kept saying, just relax, just, it's part of the plan. Just wait, just relax. It's like I always say, guys, it's not part of the plan. It's part of the plan, but it's not part of the plan that you want. Okay. This is not the time to be relaxing. Oops. So that's obviously the wrong one there. That is too. It's not time to be relaxing. It must be up here. Where's my brother? All right, that'll work. Let's do this one instead. There we go. So pretty funny. We have, we had Joe Biden yesterday put on this hat. We had him put on the hat. So I just make a little note of myself here. 28. So Biden decides that he's going to put on the hat, the MAGA hat. And I mean, this is really funny. This is really funny. Let me see if I think I have a video kind of queued up here from my main man, Alex Jones. Of course, Alex and I haven't been on his show yet, but I probably will be at some point. Here he is. Okay, Alex Jones. I saw this video earlier. Let me just play this. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Hold on. Let me load this up here for everybody. Share this tab right here. Here we go. This is hilarious, right? He says, Alex says, I saw this video earlier today, but it was short, so I didn't know the context. Now seeing this from the beginning angle, it's clear that claims Biden is angry about being pushed out are true. He's tired of being the puppet of the deep state. Look at this. This is really funny. This is pretty funny.
Trump, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're an old part. You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer.
It reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, I'm the only one.
There you go, man.
Here it comes.
I need
Here's the big moment here.
Want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah. You would do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now.
I'm proud of you now, he says. Look at
Just
this.
remember, no eating dogs and cats.
Hey, they're good.
Thank you.
They're good. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I hope you like the pizza.
Huh?
You guys picked the place again. I don't know where to go.
That is so funny. I'm gonna just use my let's see here. I'm gonna use my look at this. Look at this, guys. I mean, there he is. And then he stood there and even posed with it for a second here. Let's see. I mean, this is yeah. Pretty funny, guys. I mean, pretty funny. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, who had Sleepy Joe Biden wearing a MAGA hat, wearing a Trump 2024 hat in the cards? Who did? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, this election cycle is really something else. I know I got some comments coming in here. Goofy, right? I know, man. It is goofy. It is true. I got a Roth IRA. Well, all right, that's cool. Man, Trump is good president. Trump is good president. You're right. Trump is good president. Trump is good president. Great president. Where are you commenting? Where is he commenting? It looks like he's commenting on X, but it's not coming on my feed there. You're on YouTube. Yeah, man. Haha, yeah, man. Trump is a great president. So you're out the IRA. I mean, all that it's all gonna go. It's all gonna go pretty much, my man. It is. You know, the dollar is gonna now crash. The dollar's gonna crash. Along with the interest rates, going to go down, and risk assets are going to go up. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be bumpy. It doesn't mean it's not going to be bumpy, guys. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, bumpy that's part of it. Okay, it'll be bumpy. Bumpy is part of the game. Okay, but yeah, it's going up. It has nothing. They're going to keep printing money. They're just going to keep printing money. That's all they have to do. So I just want to finish my thought on this, though. All right. So then this morning, okay, and now there's certain things you can watch. I guess I'll pull it down. There's certain and you can watch, and as they launch a new DEX pair or something like that, and you can look at it, and I mean, you can really do well. Okay, you can really do well, but you can also just lose it all. Most of the time, you lose it all. There's some type of scam. As soon as they have enough liquidity, they just pull all the liquidity. Or there's some kind of large buy tax on it, or there's some kind of baloney. There's just some kind of baloney, right? But every once in a while, and when you know the people, you know, like I do, you get them in here, and they're pretty cool. And this appears to be one of them. Not financial advice. I get paid to do this stuff. It's highly risky things. You're warned. Okay, all that stuff I'm supposed to say. But this one, Trump 2024, is looking pretty fun, and it's looking pretty good here. Okay, so I put out a post on it. I aped in on this one early this morning, and I got to admit, guys, I am pretty happy at the moment. It went up. I'm looking now here. It went up quite a bit from my entry point. Let me just see here. Looking like a bit of a pullback. There's a bit of a pullback right now. But so Trump 2024, being a Trump supporter, I love this one. But, you know, dips are for buying usually, guys. Dips are for buying, right? Trump 2024 has become America's new favorite hat. Even Biden loves it. I aped the bag. I put it out here. This is their Telegram right here. You can find this post on my X account. It's right there on my X account with Biden. I mean, how funny is that? And just look at Trump. He's like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? He says. I mean, that is a pretty funny look right there, right? That is a pretty funny look. So here's how the market's looking right here. Okay. Again, I'm in a Telegram group now with kind of the OGs as well. So doesn't mean I'm involved with the project or anything like that. Okay. But you can see, we got some good movement here. They're probably watching even right now. A nice big buyer. Somebody, just as we're talking about it, some big buys coming in here. You see this green shoot is just popping up as we start talking about it here on the show. Of course, that's what I always like to tell people. Guys, you got to get the word out there, okay? You got to get the word out there. That's what it's all about. So anyway, cool project. It does kind of have these RVP vibes. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I mean, I don't lie anyway, really, on the show, but it does have kind of that vibe, that old Chad, vibe. I do like Ethereum is a little bit annoying. It is annoying because the fees are high, but they're a little better now. But I will say that coins that are launched on Ethereum, a lot of times they do really, really well. They do really well. It's just people have a lot of liquidity. People have a lot of Ethereum. I have a lot of Ethereum. People have a lot of Ethereum, so they're able to spend it, right? So that's how that goes. Anyway. That is my Trump 2024 thing. Let me just go back to the markets here real quick. We have 3.7 million in volume on this thing since it launched a few hours ago. I am pretty happy on this one. It's up 23,000%. So, full disclosure and all that stuff. And these are highly volatile markets and everything. But this one does seem to have a good crew to it, and they're doing the right things. You set up those groups and stuff like that, and it doesn't mean guys that it'll all work out. But there you have it here. This is their Twitter, their official Twitter, Trump 2024_ETH. So you can give them a follow there. You can also hop in there. You can look at my feed and see what's going on there. You can hop in their Telegram, talk to the team, everything. You can just look even at this green shoot that's happened as we've been on the show. So anyway, that's that. Fun. These things are fun. Okay, they are fun. You can make a lot of money with them. Don't ever gamble anything that you can't lose, because it is kind of like that. But Trump is a winning brand, right? Trump is a winning brand. So a lot of different things that hop on that end up doing well. So, all right. So we are going to do the market report here. Of course, this is a redo of the morning show, but I am doing it live. Maybe I'll go back to doing two a day. But you guys are used to seeing me early in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, and that has been something else. You know that I do 100 push-ups every morning before the show. I do 100 push-ups. I put in my Keurig, and as my coffee's brewing, I do 100 push-ups and I do 100 sit-ups. And then I do the show, and I'm expecting now. I'm supposed to do that until Bitcoin hits 100,000. That's supposed to be what happens until Bitcoin hits 100,000. That's what we do. All right, so I got the market report here from my main man Matthew Dixon. Let me just pull it up here from. Here we go. All right. Pretty interesting markets that we have here. Okay. Here we go. All right. All right. Okay, got it queued up right here. This is the market report from this morning. I was mobile, skating with my daughter. Who's voting for Kamala? I don't know, man. Is anybody voting for her? Kamal, come law. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. Here in DC, I see the signs everywhere. I mean, we got a sickness around here. Let me tell you guys. DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia. It's Kamala country. It is. Not gonna lie, it is Kamala country, guys. It definitely is. So, anyway, all right. So I got this keyed up. Let me share the right tab here, and we got the market report. What is going to happen? I got Oliver Chase. Who's Oliver Chase? I got Oliver Chase. Is that where your money is at? Who's got Oliver Chase? All right. Here we go. Present. Libertarian candidate. Oh, I guess I should have known that. Well, man, I mean, I remember back when Ron Paul was running. And you had to kind of make a decision. Like, I mean, basically, if you vote for that guy, I mean, it's kind of, it's not going to do anything right now. So, I don't know. Libertarian candidate. I mean, I hear you. I am a libertarian. I voted for Bush way back when on those hanging chads down there in Palm Beach. And I saw how that went. And I said, well, this is a joke. So I was libertarian until Trump ran. When Trump came down the stairs and he started talking about immigration and talking about this, talking about that, I said, all right, Trump, you got my vote. And that's how that is. But I am a libertarian, as a matter of fact. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. All right, here's the market report from this morning. I'm gonna hand it off to you here. I am on dad duty this morning. Okay. Let me remove this here. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, feeling a bit better. Just getting used to the new weather out here. Still very, very hot, over 40 degrees. But yeah, all good. Thank you. Had an interesting day on the markets yesterday.
We sure did. I had fun. Yeah. I hope you did too.
Yeah, I'll just jump into. Had a really good day. It went pretty well as expected, but I'll share my screen. There's a couple of little surprises we had. So just jump in and share the screen there.
Amazing.
So hopefully you can see, first of all, I'm going to jump, first of all, to the S&P 500.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you, that was a wild ride yesterday.
It was a wild ride. So you can see it here on this particular red candle down. So the news came out, and obviously inflation came out lower than expected, 2.5%. They're expecting 2.6%. So you'd think that'd be great for the markets, but it always goes the opposite way as logic would dictate. So obviously it was positive news, but effectively it's sell the news here. So we had buy the rumor pushing the price up, then we had sell the news when the news came out, and it sold off really sharply. But there's no logic, there's no real logic behind it because it was good news for the markets, but the market sold off very sharply, very quickly. But that was clearly the market makers and the big institutions, the people in charge of the big money, spiking the price down, basically taking out all of the long positions that were in there, as many as they could, before the price then rallied to the upside. So that was very clearly quite a quick move to the downside. It didn't hold long. It didn't drop below the previous low at all, which is quite important. So we had effectively, I think, a wave 1 up and a wave 2 down. Now we're pushing up on wave 3. We're probably already more than 1.618. I'll just double check that now. Just measure what I think is wave 1 there. And then just transpose that over to, so we're almost exactly 1.618. So this would be quite nice if we then got a little bit of a pullback now and then a further push to the upside. That would give us a nice 5-wave impulse to the upside. So we've already had, if we just scroll out a little bit on the daily, and this is again the S&P 500, just to show us where we're at, it's gone really according to plan. So we did have this bullish divergence, this basically hidden bullish divergence here, telling us that price was going to push higher, and that's precisely what it did. And it pushed up in apparently a clear 5 waves, and then we got a nice 3-wave move down before pushing up again. And you see the green candles, no overlap on the way up here. Unlike this here, where we've got a nice clear overlapped ABC down, this is very clearly pushing up quite nicely now as at worst, it's an A, a B, and a C. But either way, we're expecting new highs, new all-time highs for the S&P 500. I can't see it being ABC. I think it's actually a 1, 2. I think we're going to get a 3rd wave higher. So markets, I think, are looking quite positive following that news yesterday. But of course, we're waiting for the big news. 6 days' time now, next Wednesday, the FOMC rate decision. So yesterday, we clearly got news that we were hoping for in terms of that virtually secured a rate cut next Wednesday. Now, I think it's now virtually 100% priced in that there's going to be a rate cut. The question now is it 25 basis points or 50 basis points? Now, I would assert that it's going to be 25 basis points. If they were to say 50, it shows they're panicking. The other thing is, don't forget, we're still 25% above the target rate for inflation. When I say 25% above, the target rate is 2%. The current rate reported 2.5%. So 0.5% basically out of the 2% target. We're 25% above target. In fact, we're 25% above target. So the fact that we're so far above target, I don't think it gives the Fed room to really do a drastic cut like 50 basis points. I'll be extremely surprised, and that will convey panic to the market, which I don't think anybody wants. Exactly. I think we're all looking for a nice smooth market ahead of the election and into October.
That's what they call a soft landing or something, right?
Yeah, they're aiming for a soft landing, and so far it's looking pretty good. But there's a lot of problems bubbling behind the scenes, of course. I mean, the fact is they still have inflation way above target. And normally when you have inflation above target, normally you've got excessive growth. And when you have high interest rates, it actually slows the inflation rate. But you can afford to slow growth a bit because growth is so robust. At the moment, growth is okay, but it's probably not robust enough to handle high interest rates. And yet we still need relatively high rates to control inflation. So the Fed are still struggling. To get a soft landing is going to be pretty amazing if they do manage to achieve that. I don't think they will personally. And we can see, I'll just flip over to the oil price. We can see that oil price has, in the slightly bigger picture, and we're on the daily here, so it's a fairly big picture. We can see that oil has been, down quite sharply. The fact that we got lower interest rates virtually confirmed coming in next week probably gave a little bit of a boost to growth. That they're lowering rates. That's probably good for growth. It's good for risk assets. It's good for growth, and so maybe good for oil consumption. And so, but I still think overall we can still see at the moment these are effectively lower lows and lower highs. So we're still effectively some kind of downtrend on oil. And if you scroll that even further, I think we'll see even more of that. Yeah, we can see that very clearly. We can see here very much really on a downtrend for oil. So I think whilst the trend is still down for oil, as I say, we got a little tick up because I think growth took a bit of a boost yesterday, growth expectations, because they're almost certainty now they're going to lower rates. But that means that oil ticked up slightly, but it's going to go lower because as we get lower interest rates, well, it's not so much as we get lower interest rates, but probably more as growth slows a little bit more. And we've seen that. We've seen the first signs of it in the employment figures. So that's the other figures that we need to watch. So the Fed's mandate is to maintain stable inflation, to maintain stable employment, and then a hidden mandate is effectively to maintain stability in the markets. So at the moment, they're managing all of those things reasonably well. But we're starting to see the first chinks in the armor with employment beginning to fade a little bit. Unemployment ticking up. And remember, I showed you that that particular rule, the SARM rule, showing that when it goes above 0.5%, that's a sign of recession coming. So that is still there. That signal is still there. It's been very, very predictive every single time for the past 65 years. It's accurately predicted when a recession's coming. Right now, it's predicting a recession coming. So I think, well, it's interesting, actually. They're still talking now about 3 interest rate cuts this year. That means every meeting this year. So they've got a meeting, obviously, next week. That's mid-September. They've got one October. September. They've got one then, end of October, and then beginning December. So, you know, they're basically 6 weeks apart, whatever that works out as. So in the final 3 meetings, they're expecting a cut each time, and most likely it'll be 25 basis points. But if growth falls off a cliff, then we could even see 50 basis points at some point. But that would be seen as the market, as the Fed panicking, trying to stimulate growth drastically. And I think inflation will continue to fall, because remember, we've been saying a long, long time, the inflation has been not homegrown. It's actually it's been internationally delivered through the war, through the spike in oil prices that we had and the spike in food prices that we had due to the war, particularly in Ukraine, Russia. That spiked all these prices. That drove inflation effectively, I would call it artificially high. It wasn't due to excessive growth or anything like that. And that's why the Fed have got such a problem now in trying to deal with it. So that's basically the fundamentals behind it. Interestingly, it's not just the S&P. The Dow and the Nasdaq took a bit of a dive yesterday when the news first came out, but then they've rallied since. And the S&P 500 again is looking really nice now, pushing again towards those new all-time highs. Just focus on that once more. A little bit, as I say, all the divergences were beautiful. So we got a regular bearish divergence telling us exactly when to sell. We got a regular bullish divergence telling us exactly when to close if you had a short position, or exactly when to buy the market. And also, you place your stop loss just below this support line here, just below the low price here, and it's not been triggered. Even with the sell-off last night, that stop loss would not have been triggered. So now price has rallied, you'd be in the money again. So that's really nice trade there, based on solid risk reward analysis, setting your risk reward and trading accordingly with sensible stop losses in place, and you'd be right in the money at the moment. So that's fantastic. Gold price again, just fading very, very slightly, but that was expected again. We've got some kind of parallel channel working here, it seems, at the moment. We may get a bit more of a sell-off in gold, but we're still going to head, I believe, in the near future to multiple new all-time highs. This is just one fractal, one scale that we're looking at. But if you look at the larger scale and larger again scale, it looks as though gold is going to make multiple new all-time highs. And this is just a corrective move. We can see it sideways. We can see it's overlapping. It tells us that even if we were to push lower, maybe even down here, we're going to push higher again to new all-time highs for gold, I think. Bitcoin got a nice bit of a push yesterday. Again, a bit of a sell-off immediately on the news. Gave us a perfect wave 4. The wave 4 did not overlap the wave 1 here. So the wave 3 was above 1.618 times wave 1. All the rules were fulfilled there for Bitcoin. And once again, we had some beautiful divergences. I think they were looking on the daily, those divergences. Yeah, you can see them here. And again, looking on the daily, we can see the long-term picture. Basically a wave 3 higher, an AB, some kind of corrective move. Now it could be a triangle. I've got it labeled here as a triangle, A, B, C, D, E triangle, with E overshooting the trend line here, which is allowed. E wave being the only wave allowed to overshoot the trend lines, and that's what happened with the spike down here. But it could still be an even more complex correction. So I'm not completely ruling out a further push down, but either way, I still firmly believe this is a corrective move. Whether we finished it or not, it's corrective. So I do expect Bitcoin to push above here, above this consolidation pattern here, to new all-time highs above this 73,007 for Bitcoin. And I expect that this year. That's what I believe. I believe it's going to happen this year. So I think it's a good, personally, a safe bet. But bear in mind, you've got to take into account every possibility and then look at the probability of that possibility. So there is actually a possibility that we get one final dip lower on Bitcoin that could dip nastily lower to take out all the potential longs. As so often happens, these market makers, if they see people long the market now, they could spike it lower one more time before it pushes higher. So make sure you're not over leveraged, make sure you're not over positioned, and make sure you're not investing money that you need tomorrow. But I think if you fulfill all of those rules, then I think a long position in Bitcoin should bear fruit and give you some decent returns. And exactly the same really for Ethereum. It seems to be a corrective move down. Ethereum has been a strange one, not really what we expected. I think everybody thought Ethereum was going to be stronger than it has been. It's had quite a big sell-off. And when you compare it with the likes of Solana, for example, Solana in this bull run came from $8 to, well, it peaked at $209. On this particular bull run, previous bull run, it was higher than that. But this bull run, from $8 to $209. So massive run up in Solana. We didn't see the same in Ethereum at all. And Ethereum has been really subdued. And it's quite surprising, bearing in mind we had the Ethereum ETF, which sadly has not been as successful as the Bitcoin ETF. So Ethereum, we actually saw a lot of outflows from the Ethereum ETF. Not really the same for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been in and out, but overall, generally, very positive for Bitcoin, not so positive for Ethereum. And Ethereum is, in a lot of people's eyes, is becoming a kind of one of the old chains. A lot of the new, more efficient, faster, quicker, cheaper chains coming along now that can replace Ethereum. And that's maybe why Ethereum's not taken off as much as others. We've looked at gold. Just look at some of the other ones that we've focused on recently. Toncoin, again, we said it was going to push higher. It's pushed beautifully higher. Again, we got a bit of a push down yesterday, but again, it's already started to move up to the upside. So I do think Toncoin's got a good future ahead of it. Got amazing community, as Bruce is always saying. Got massive, massive community. And again, it's quite clearly a corrective move down here, I think. This cannot be any kind of wave, can't be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, because the wave 4 overlaps this wave down massively. And I can't even see this as a wave 1 because, again, overlapping move down. So this is a corrective move to the downside. So we need to have a move to the upside to take us to new all-time highs, in my view, for Toncoin. Sorry, I've got this silly Siri giving me problems again. So anyway, in general, market's looking reasonably positive today. We can see reasonable green across the board. Yeah, pretty much green across the board. I will just look at Solana briefly. It's, again, like the rest. We've got an impulsive move to the upside, corrective sideways move. Again, we could potentially dip a little bit lower, possibly. But now or near future, I'm expecting new all-time highs. Well, not all-time highs, sorry, new highs at least above this local high of $209. So that's really positive, massive move. It's 50% move basically from where we are now, more than 50% move from where we are now. So that I see as 50% upside. So if you took a position, obviously you've got to expect there could potentially be another push down. But if you hold long enough, you're not leveraged, not paying carry charges and so on, then potentially you can get 50% on your money with no leverage at all. So, and don't forget, you can even stake Solana, by the way. You can still get about 7% on staking. So you can actually buy the token, you can stake it, get 7% per annum return on it. So better than any deposits you'll get on any fiat, any fixed interest account. And then on top of that, you've got what is likely to be 50% appreciation, and most likely in the next few months. So Solana's got great potential.
Yeah. There's a lot of money behind that. A lot of money behind this Solana.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been a bit of one of the things that's pumped Solana is, for example, pump.fun is that platform that had all the meme coins on it. That's quieting down a little bit at the moment. That could still pick up again, but meme coins, often they're a bit of a craze and they go through these cycles. So I'm sure there'll be other things that will pick up and use the Solana chain. Sorry, Solana chain, because they also, bear in mind, they've got this fire dancer upgrade coming up soon. That will set them apart again a little bit more than the rest of the chains. As I say, it's going to be even faster, even more efficient, more secure, etc., etc. So lots of positive things coming through for Solana. And it's just a matter of the adoption. If they can continue to maintain the rapid rate of adoption they've had, which I'm sure they can. So that's pretty much a wrap for today. We could obviously look at lots of other tokens. They're all looking nicely green today, but I think the big move is going to come most likely next week, Wednesday, when we get that interest rate cut.
Yeah.
So ahead of that time, we will look at other data points that will swing things back into in the meantime. But I'm hoping that we actually set a solid foundation yesterday with those good CPI figures, slightly better than expected CPI figures, and they set the scene really for a 25 basis point interest rate cut come next Wednesday, which should be really good, all these risk assets. So I think we can be optimistic for the near-time future at least. So yeah, hope that's helpful, and look forward to giving you a full update tomorrow.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Matt. It's always a pleasure. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, a bit better. Sorry, I don't know whether I did. I just touched finally briefly on DXY, the dollar index.
Yeah.
So again, we have this long-term support. When we hit support, we bounced off it, and we retested it again. It bounced off it. I think the next time that will have weakened the support. I think next time, and that'll probably be next Wednesday, I think we're going to plummet through support the dollar index. So the dollar will weaken on lower interest rates. Obviously, there's going to be less attraction to invest money into US dollars because there'll be less returns on US dollars. And so a lot of money will flow out of US dollar at that time, and that should plummet DXY. And I think that will actually help the risk assets. So that was the final little piece of the jigsaw I wanted to put in before I leave you today. So thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Impact Money viewers. Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Matt. Cheers.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. That was the market report with Matt Dixon. There is always a pleasure with him. I've been working with Matt now for a long time. Made a lot of money with Matt, and we are working on more ways for you to be involved and for you to trade with us and for you to actually make money like we do. Because if you pay attention to the signals, you only need to win most of your trades, right? You need to win more than you lose, and you'll be fine. But only 5% of people win trading. Only 5%. So 95% of people lose. That's those market makers taking everyone's money, and it can be tricky, right? Especially nowadays with AI. But we're working on some of the ways for you to do it. If you follow our signals, we've been doing the show since December of last year. And if you followed our signals, you've done very, very well. Make sure you put your stop losses in. Not everything is guaranteed, and as well, we can have different events that will take things up and will take things down and will take things all around. I mean, that's the way things go, right? So I wanted to talk about one of the assets that I have been I guess I am somewhat involved with, right? So this is dog or flower. Trades as dollar or, okay, and this has been really just been taken off. This took off yesterday. We had over I think a 70% move on dog or flower. Okay, you can see here, nice movement on the market here. We're sitting at above about 425 market cap at the moment. Liquidity is about $7,000, but if I go here even to the 4 hour, I feel like, yeah, you can just see here, big move yesterday. We're almost back at the top where we were now, probably going to get here. This is on the TON network. So when we talk about TON, TON is moving. It's made a big move down, and now it is going to return. And of course, with the arrest of Pavel Durov, and the arrest warrant of his brother, that has made this front and center in the monetary revolution. Is it a dog or is it a flower? Dogorflower.io. It's a fun meme coin. This thing moves fast, folks. It moves fast. And whether it's moving down fast or up fast, it really moves fast. But it is a lot of market potential for this. It was previously up at 3 million. You can see it now a little bit over 400,000. So even just going back to that high, it's only been around for a few months. So just going back to 4 million is going to be a heck of a run. Not financial advice, all that stuff. Join the revolution. Dog or flower, meat or dollar or the most memeable dog on Ton. In the world of memes and dogs, we have seen a huge communities formed. Doggy or Doge and Shib have become the biggest meme coins. Whiff showed us that silly and cute can be worth billions. This is the most memeable and adorable dog on Ton. Dog or flower is unique and original. I do like it. I do like it a lot. Is it a dog? Is it a dog or is it a flower? Is it a dog or flower? Dog or flower? I'll show you actually their Twitter page as well. Make sure to follow them on Twitter. It's at or Ton Coin. Here we are. Dog or flower. And you can see here, getting some pretty good action on X. Good morning, fam. CPI numbers, inflation from the U.S. lower than expected. Pretty much locks in an interest rate cut in 6 days, just in time for October. Ton and or are positioned for an impulsive move, not financial advice, speculative markets, and all that jazz. But you can see here, just a nice coin, nice community. That's what you like to see. It's all about the community, right? And if you catch them on the right wave, you're really doing good. The meme coins are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be fun, but they can go into the billions of dollars. And so you look at something like Ton and you say, okay, Ton is at $5 right now, or I think it's 550. Nice move on Ton. Let me just actually pull up. Let me pull them up here real quick. Ton. Nice move on Ton. Ton coin, the mighty Ton coin. Up 4.5% today. Check that out. The mighty Ton coin. Am I showing? Yeah, there it is. 556. I was buying these, loading up under $5. So nice move today. We're all pretty happy about that. We are all pretty happy about that. And what that's going to do, so this is going to return. It will return. I mean, it's speculative and all that stuff that I have to say, but it will return to its all-time high very shortly, because it was just a few weeks ago. I think it's all-time high. But this is, let's see here. All-time high was 3 months ago. 825. So that's, guys, that's a big move from here, right? 33% on that. If you do leverage trade, even if you just do 1x, you know what I mean? So just do 2x leverage, and then you bought double of what you would normally have. That move there, a 30% move is then 60%, or if you did 3x and it's 90%. If you think that it's going to continue to go up. I mean, basically with the arrest of Pavel Durov, and it's just $1 now off of its low, basically. Okay, it's $1 off of its low. Probably we bottomed around with everything. October's right around the corner. So now is the time. If you haven't been dollar cost averaging in, if you haven't been dollar cost averaging in and taking your positions in the market, you want to start now. Okay, dollar cost average. You don't put it all in. You just buy, and then you buy. And then you buy all the dips. Okay, you buy all the dips, and that's what you do. You just, every time it dips, you buy some more. If it dips again, you buy some more. And that is a winning strategy, guys. That's a very winning strategy. As well, you can also just buy every week, whatever it is. Maybe you buy Bitcoin every week. Whatever that is, whatever you want that strategy to be. The dollar with the interest rates now, 3 interest rate cuts this year, man, that's crazy. So that is leading right up to the election. So the economy is going to be roaring as Kamala goes into the election. The economy is going to be roaring if they do even talking about these interest rate cuts here, right? So the economy is going to be roaring. They're going to go in here so we have one in September, we have one in October, and I guess they're going to predict that we'll have one in November. Now that would be after the election, but even just predicting it is going to just send the markets absolutely into never land. I mean, that's just the way this works. That's the way it works, guys. So, and this is what we said all the time. And the summer is the summer, and everybody gets upset and everything like that. And then as soon as the Bitcoin halving happens, everybody forgets that it goes choppy afterwards, and it even goes down afterwards. But then it goes up big, guys. It goes up big. The supply of Bitcoin was cut in half. The daily, the amount of Bitcoins that come out that are produced was cut in half. We have the Fed printing up money like you can't believe. There is no accountability in Washington. That's what this guy's always complaining about. Big supporter of Thomas Massie, Rand Paul, these guys, these libertarian guys, because they're right. Out of control spending, and that's actually, I will touch on it now, because Elon Musk did give a nod to the central banking cartel, which was unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is, right? Everyone's got to play the game, I guess. But here he is. Let me share this. I'll put it up here on my he says let's see here, where is it? It'll come up. Boy, he talks a lot. Isn't it crazy how he talks to all of us? He hasn't responded to any of my posts, but he did like one of my posts at one time. And that sent my post crazy. I had like 1 million views on it, which at the time was a lot for me. Sometimes I get 1 million views on every week this time. Oh, here it is right here. The nod from the great Elon Musk to the central banking cartel. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So this was a response. He puts up here, interest payments on just the federal government debt now exceeds the entire Defense Department budget. That was 13 hours ago. America is in the fast lane to bankruptcy. Okay, and this is in response to talking about September 11th, the original version of the story mischaracterized, blah, 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 whatever. About taxpayer-funded misgender or trans stuff. Anyway, David Benner, who I did just follow after he posted this, I don't know him other than that. Federal debt is out of control. Both parties are complicit. It won't stop until we end the Fed, which is what I tell you guys all the time. It won't stop until we end the Fed. And this is the great Ron Paul, Rand's father.
Federal spending is so out of control that it only took 3 months for the federal debt to increase by $1 trillion to over $33 trillion. In contrast, it took almost 200 years for the federal debt to reach $1 trillion. So that the federal government racked up more debt in the last 3 months than it did from the ratification of the U.S. Constitution until Ronald Reagan's first term. There will be even more shocking increases in the future, since according to some experts, federal debt is increasing by approximately $14 billion a day. Those tempted to blame the increases on President Biden, the Democratic Congress, or the COVID-related spending spree should consider the debt increased by around $1 trillion a year in 2017 and 2018, years when the Republicans controlled the White House and both houses of Congress.
I mean, the other part about it, and I'll take this down and I'm going to talk about it more. I'm going to go to his response. But the other part about it is, because Elon's point is, I guess I'll show that first. Elon's point is that if we stop, he says, okay, so this guy says federal debt is out of control and both parties are complicit. It won't stop until we end the Fed, which is true. He says Elon says government overspending causes inflation. End of story. I mean, like, boom, end of story. Okay. All right, Elon. I mean, I love you, Elon, but come on. That's why prices at the store keep rising. Now, people aren't stupid. We know Elon's a really smart guy, but it's obvious that the Federal Reserve, the central banking cartel, is in control of our country. He says, stop government overspending and end inflation. Now, he's right in a sense that if we stop government overspending, it will stop inflation from being so bad. Okay. But we are still going to be ruled by the central banking cartel. Right now, we are completely and totally ruled by the central banking cartel. That's what this guy's saying. I have to go the other way, so sometimes I get mixed up. He says everybody has an APAC guy. Everybody's got an APAC guy, he says. Same guy. Central banking cartel, APAC, all the same guys. So we're at JFK tried to make APAC, which it was the American Zionist Foundation back then, register as foreign agents, and he was mysteriously assassinated. They never told us who did it. But the fingerprints are all over it. And I get it. I guess Elon is, he's got to go to space and he's got all these contracts and everything else. I mean, I guess I play a game too. I got stuff too, but I just felt like it needed to be said. Stopping government spending and that's why it's very important for us to get Trump in. I hope we can get him in. It's not going to fix everything. In 4 years, he'll be gone, and hopefully him and Elon will get in there, and they'll close all these different agencies, and they'll fire all kinds of people. And I don't really have high hopes, to be real honest with you, but I am praying for it, and I want it to happen, and we're going to all push for it to happen. But after that, guys, we're still going to have a lot of work to do. We're going to have a lot of work to do. Right now, our system is controlled by these guys. The central banking cartel, which is the Federal Reserve, completely controls the country. They can pay off everybody. Everybody. They pay off everybody. They have complete control over how much money is printed, all of it. All of it. And they've gotten Congress so used to this that Congress they know they don't ever have to pass a budget, because all they do is say pay. They pass bills, pay. The central bank gives them the money, and the central bank, the Federal Reserve, has total ability to tax you and me as much as they want by diluting the money supply. There's no way out. There is absolutely no way out of this except by closing the Federal Reserve. So I do understand. Actually, I'm giving him too much credit. He shouldn't say that. He shouldn't say it. But I get why he did. I get it. He still shouldn't do it. We are in a times when we all have to stand up. Now, he's standing up for a lot of things. So like I said, give the guy a break, right? I'll give him a break. But this, guys, is how the central banking cartel works. This is how it works. This is what happened to the United States. This is what happened to us over the last 111 years. They crashed our economies. They bought everything back. They diluted us. They stole all our gold in 1933. I had one of my friends doing a show on here, and I cut him off. He'll probably watch this one day if he's not watching it right now. He just wants to work with the central banking cartel. And guys, it's not time to work with the central banking cartel. It is time to end the Fed, get us out from under this debt slavery system. This is how it works. This is how a central bank works. I've played this before. I'm going to play it again.
So what is a central bank? A central bank is an institution that produces the currency of an entire nation. Based on historical precedent, two specific powers are inherent in central banking practice: the control of interest rates and the control of the money supply, or inflation. The central bank does not simply supply a government's economy with money, it loans it to them at interest. Then, through the use of increasing and decreasing the supply of money, the central bank regulates the value of the currency being issued. It is critical to understand that the entire structure of this system can only produce one thing in the long run: debt. It doesn't take a lot of ingenuity to figure this scam out. for every single dollar produced by the central bank is loaned at interest. That means every single dollar produced is actually the dollar plus a certain percent of debt based on that dollar. And since the central bank has the monopoly over the production of the currency for the entire country, and they loan each dollar out with immediate debt attached to it, where does the money to pay for the debt come from? It can only come from the central bank again, which means the central bank has to perpetually increase its money supply to temporarily cover the outstanding debt created, which in turn, since that new money is loaned out at interest as well, creates even more debt. The end result of this system without fail is slavery, for it is impossible for the government and thus the public to ever come out of the self-generating debt. At this time, the dominant families in the banking and business world were the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Warburgs, the Rothschilds. And in the early 1900s, they sought to push once again legislation to create another central bank. However, they knew the government and public were very weary of such an institution, so they needed to create an incident to affect public opinion. So, J.P. Morgan, publicly considered a financial luminary at the time, exploited his mass influence by publishing rumors that a prominent bank in New York was insolvent or bankrupt. Morgan knew this would cause mass hysteria, which would affect other banks as well. And it did. The public, in fear of losing their deposits, immediately began mass withdrawals. Consequently, the banks were forced to call in their loans, causing the recipients to sell their property, and thus a spiral of bankruptcies, repossessions, and turmoil emerged. Putting the pieces together a few years later, Frederick Allen of Life magazine wrote, "The Morgan interests took advantage to precipitate the panic, guiding it shrewdly as it progressed." Unaware of the fraud, the Panic of 1907 led to a congressional investigation headed by Senator Nelson Aldrich, who had intimate ties to the banking cartels and later became part of the Rockefeller family through marriage. The commission, led by Aldrich, recommended a central bank should be implemented so a panic like 1907 could never happen again. And in 1913, with heavy political sponsorship by the bankers, Woodrow Wilson became president, having already agreed to sign the Federal Reserve Act in exchange for campaign support. And 2 days before Christmas, when most of Congress was at home with their families, the Federal Reserve Act was voted in, and Wilson in turn made it law. A world banking system was being set up here, a superstate controlled by international bankers, acting together to enslave the world for their own pleasure. The Fed has usurped the government. Now, the public was told that the Federal Reserve System was an economic stabilizer, and inflation and economic crises were a thing of the past. Well, as history has shown, nothing is further from the truth. The fact is, the international bankers now had a streamlined machine to expand their personal ambitions.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
For example, from 1914 to 1919, the Fed increased the money supply by nearly 100%. Resulting in extensive loans to small banks and the public. Then, in 1920, the Fed called in mass percentages of the outstanding money supply, thus resulting in the supporting banks having to call in huge numbers of loans, and just like 1907, bank runs, bankruptcy, and collapse occurred. Over 5,400 competitive banks outside of the Federal Reserve System collapsed, further consolidating the monopoly of the small group of international bankers. Privy to this crime, Congressman Lindbergh stepped up and said in 1921, "Under the Federal Reserve Act, panics are scientifically created. The present panic is the first scientifically created one, worked out as we figure a mathematical equation." However, the panic of 1920 was just a warm-up. From 1921 to 1929, the Fed again increased the money supply, resulting once again in extensive loans to the public and banks. There was also a fairly new type of loan called a margin loan in the stock market. Very simply, the margin loan allowed an investor to put down only 10% of a stock's price, with the other 90% being loaned through the broker. In other words, a person could own $1,000 worth of stock with only $100 down. However, there was a catch to this loan. It could be called in at any time and had to be paid within 24 hours. This is termed a margin call, and the typical result of a margin call is the selling of the stock purchased with the loan. So, a few months before October in 1929, J.D. Rockefeller, Bernard Baruch, and other insiders quietly exited the market. And on October 24, 1929, the New York financiers who furnished the margin loans started calling them in masse. This sparked an instantaneous, massive sell-off in the market, for everyone had to cover the margin loans. It then triggered mass bank runs for the same reason, in turn collapsing over 16,000 banks, enabling the conspiring international bankers to not only buy up rival banks at a discount, but to also buy up whole corporations at pennies on the dollar. It was the greatest robbery in American history. But that didn't stop there. Rather than expanding the money supply in order to recover from this economic collapse, the Fed actually contracted it, fueling one of the largest depressions in history.
So I talk about it a lot. Sometimes it's better to just listen to somebody else tell you about it as well, because guys, and yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, so Trump is the guy. We got to get Trump in. That's gonna help us out a lot. We're gonna get a lot, but that's not gonna end the Federal Reserve. That's not gonna end the central banking cartel's hold that it has on the country. And maybe it couldn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna be the president at any time soon. I would say maybe one day I'll try to run and fix the things. But things are gonna happen, and I don't think Trump's gonna. I don't think Trump's gonna end the Fed. Obviously, Elon is not gonna, there you go. Blaming inflation on government overspending. It's part of the equation, yes. Per the Constitution, in the Constitution, the government is supposed to be the only entity that's supposed to be able to coin money. And actually, we're only supposed to be using gold or silver. But the government is the only one that's supposed to be able to coin money, because our founders knew the danger of the central bank. Central bank was one of the main reasons we left England. That's where my family came from, Porter. We're English. We have to close it. We have to close it. But things are going to move on, and it will happen. I mean, it happen all over the world. See, this debt system, this lending and debt system, is the same system that has been rolled out around the world over a long time, folks. A long time. It's a long time. And it always leads to, it can only lead to slavery. It can only lead to debt. And at that point, then the slaves say, hey, it's time to go, guys. It's time to go. It's time to go. Anyway, I am going to wrap it up for the day. It has been an amazing show. I love you guys. You guys are great. Peace, love, as they used to say, peace, love, and Washington Capitals. I'll see you guys in the morning. Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.